Could you break down for our audience how this change or doesn't change the dynamic between buying versus renting?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the buy side, it's a massive challenge. And Diana just walked through the numbers. If you look at home affordability out there in the market right now, even in the middle of August, when interest rates got down closer to 5%, we were still in the 10 least affordable months in the last 30 years, right? And now that rates are up another 0.5%, we're now talking about near record lows again in terms of affordability. And so it's pushing a lot of folks over into that rental space. Along with that, they're also seeing prices start to come off their peak, and folks are wondering, is that going to continue to take place? And that's having a psychological effect as well.
Right, but rents, the gains there are moderating, but it's still very, very expensive. I think the latest reading was up 10% year over year. So what does the first home buyer do in this kind of market?
Yeah, and in all honesty, there's not a great option, right? Because if you look at the payments being made or the payments needed to afford the average home purchase, they're up 50% from the beginning of the year. You're talking $650 per month more just to buy the average home over there on the buy side of the house. So even with rents up, they still look relatively attractive compared to the increasing cost to buy a home out there in the market over the last 8 months.
You know, it was kind of shocking. I was talking to someone earlier this week who said that their son just had to sign an apartment in New York City, put down 2 months, needed a guarantor as well, a huge deposit. It seems out of step with what we're seeing in terms of return to work, not expected to pick up significantly even after Labor Day. What is the catalyst that sort of gets rents more in line with what's happening in cities?
You know, New York City is a really interesting anomaly. When you look at what's going on in terms of prices, in terms of back to the office type of activity, New York is really an outlier. You're not seeing that same thing in the West Coast markets. Yeah. They're seeing prices correct. Prices are holding strong in that New York specific area because of that return to work type of activity. So again, I think there's just a new balance between renting and home ownership. Both are getting significantly more expensive. I think as you see rates move, that dynamic between the two is going to shift, and there's going to be this constant mathematical equation going on in folks' mind of, is rental more affordable than housing, and does it make sense right now? Does gaining a little bit of pay down in my mortgage debt each month outweigh the potential risk of price corrections that Diana was just talking about? So a lot of different dynamics at play right now for folks looking at renting and buying, and neither one of them are overly attractive right now.
Yeah, not a great situation to be in if you're looking to rent or buy. Andy, thank you so much for being with us. Have a good long weekend. Andy Walden.
You bet.